Hello everybody and welcome back to the channel. So today, as you can already tell by the title, we are going through some more quality of life related mods that you can add into your Stardew Valley game. But before we get into this feels very odd to say, we need to address some things regarding the last quality of life video that I posted over here. A really large chunk of the comments that I got were things stating that this is not quality of life, these are cheat mods, and getting quite angry about it. So before we get into this video, I really just wanted to go over what is quality of life and why these mods are relevant for your game. So first of all, quality of life in video games is features in a game designed to make a game easier or smoother to play for the particular person. Quality of life for me is so different for quality of life of you, and it's going to be different for the next person. There is no right or wrong quality of life. We all have different needs and different aspects for the game. Now, when it comes to a game like Stardew Valley that has an entire wiki dedicated to it, there is a lot to cover in this game. There is a whole farming aspect of it. There's also taking care of animals, growing trees, making artisan goods. You also have a ton of villagers that have different liked and loved gifts, have different schedules and everything. You have 4 different seasons that you have to cater to with different crops, different requirements, and different events as well. Not only that, there are things like fishing, mining, combat that is added into the game. Things like completing the museum, which need different artifacts and minerals, which again are required by things like different geodes or different levels in the mines, etc. There are different shops, again on that, different schedules, and so many different secrets just in the base game itself. Not to mention the biggest part of the game is the community center, which has different bundles, and then after you've completed that, you get the hidden bundle, which has a bunch of different items, which are also quite hard to get. If you have never played this game before and you have never ever looked at the wiki, there is a lot to Stardew Valley. It is just an insanely large game. If you're like me, I have been playing the game since release, and I still use the wiki on a day-to-day basis whenever I am playing. So going over a few of the quality of life mods that I shared in my last episode, a lot of those friendship mods are going to be great for people who really struggle to remember what people's liked gifts are, don't want to go down the path of like growing particular crops and then turning them into particular items, or even cooking specific dishes and everything. Things like mining and combat mods, while on the surface might look like a cheat mod because you're making the combat easier, could help a player just enjoy that game so much more. Combat can be really overwhelming, and it might be really daunting for someone to go into something like the Skull Caves because of how insane it can be. Mods that adjust time are really great if you just need a little bit more time to get something done in the day instead of having to do it on a separate day. And as well, sprinklers are great, but they could be better, and that's just going to cater to the individual player's needs. I have responded to many a comment on the last one, and I probably still will, but I just kind of wanted to throw that out there and get it out in the open that quality of life is to help make that individual person's experience better, to make them want to play the game and to make them enjoy playing the game. So again, if none of the mods in the previous video served you, I hope that maybe something in this video will serve you and it will allow you to enjoy the game a little bit more. But if that's not the case, enjoy the game how you want to. I ain't here to stop you. But yeah, if y'all could stop just stating that it was cheat mods, because at the end of the day, any of these mods that I'm going to be showing you are changing the way that the game has been made. So they're all technically cheats. Now that's out of the way, enjoy this little disclaimer. Before we get further on into the video, here is a quick disclaimer, a little bit of information regarding all of our modding related content. So first of all of these mods are downloadable through Nexus Mods. Nexus Mods is a really amazing site. It also showcases and has most of the mods that you'll find for Stardew Valley on there. Additionally, as of March 2024, the 1.6 update is out. This update has definitely affected mods, and I know that a lot of creators are slowly working on getting some of these mods updated. I cannot confirm or deny if the mods that I'm showcasing in this video will work with 1.6, solely because most of these mods will need a backing mod such as a content patcher, the updated Smappy, or something like alternate textures. Simply because sometimes an old mod might work with an updated content patcher, and as much as I want to test all of these mods out, my poor little computer cannot handle it. So just make sure that when you download your mods, and open them up in your Smappy, that you quickly check to see any mods highlighted in red. And you can also check out this incredible website, smappy.io, which will show you a newer version of the mod if this one is no longer compatible. And then also, if you want to keep up to date with your mods, just make sure to check out these purple ones here, which means that you can update them. And lastly, I will be listing all of the mods that I showcase in this video in the description below. I've broken them up into timestamps of the categories and then timestamps for all of the mods as well. If there was a particular one that you liked, you can see where the timestamp is and then the link right next to it. Anyway, now that's out of the way, let's get back to the video. So as always, I have split these ones up into a couple of different categories. So to start us off with, we have a farming category, we've got shopping, and then after that we have a mining combat category. We then of course have our friendships and NPCs, and ending us off we have a miscellaneous category. There are still so many mods to cover, so I've kind of just done these because I wanted to show them, but they were all really cool. But definitely, as always, let me know in the comments below what mod I missed out on. But anyway, starting us off for our farming category, our first mod is the no crows mod. So this mod essentially stops crows from eating all of your crops. So now there is no need to worry about any scarecrow placement, especially if it is your first time playing and you're not sure where to pop them, because damn, it can be annoying to watch that one little crow eat that crop of yours. It's just a very handy dandy mod for your farm. Next up, we have the greenhouse sprinklers mod. So this is essentially a mod that adds in a sprinkler system to your greenhouse that you can just pay Robin to install for you. This means that you do not need sprinklers on the ground, because sprinklers will turn on every single day in the morning so that there is that little bit of extra space for you to plant some more crops. And speaking of sprinklers, the next one we have to show you guys is the activate sprinklers mod. This mod essentially lets you activate sprinklers by right clicking on them, which is so convenient for the first day of a new season. I'm sure we've all gone down that route of going ham and buying so many new crops and getting the floor ready, planting those crops, placing fertilizer, and then you have to go and water them as well. No longer shall this be a worry for us. For now, we can just simply click the sprinklers and they will water for us. Up next on the list, we have the safe lightning mod. So this essentially just prevents lightning from hitting anything on your farm except for your lightning rods. So this means that we will no longer have ruined crops, flooring, trees, or anything. Our lightning rods are going to take all of that lightning energy and give us some extra battery packs, hopefully, instead of losing a tree. Up next on the list, I thought this one was so handy. This is the auto grab truffles. Normally by the time that you can purchase pigs for your barn, you've heard of this little thing called an auto grabber, which essentially just grabs the milk, eggs, all that sort of stuff from your barn and coop so that you don't have to go milk or collect eggs every single day. But it does not collect truffles. It makes sense in retrospect because they make the truffles outside, but it would be handy to just have it all in one system. And now this collects your truffles so that you have one less thing to worry about every single day. Up next, a very popular one you guys were stating. This is the tractor mod. So essentially you can now buy a tractor through Robin to work more efficiently on your farm and to help you work with crops, things like clearing your farm out as well. And it's just overall very, very handy. And in addition to this, there are a ton of customization mods for this mod in particular. So I'm sure that we can find a way to make it work with your farm. Almost near the end of this list, but next up we have the winter grass mod. This is an essential for me. I love this mod. So this essentially just means that grass is going to now survive throughout winter, so you don't have to worry about spending all of your money on precious hay. Not only is it great that you can continue to get hay throughout the season, but it's also great for you visual besties who want a beautifully decorated farm. And next for our list, kind of jumping on that one as well, we have the grass growth adjuster mod. So this mod allows you to adjust the chance for grass to spread just through some configurations with a few different grass growth levels. At number 2 is a little gentle and a bit more faster than normally would happen. Number 5 is manageable, but a lot faster. And number 10 is just a little bit crazy. So if you've got like 4 barns, I'd go ham and go 10 and get all of that hay ready for you. But it can just be great because grass does take a really long time to grow and we need it for all of those good things. And then lastly, for our farming category, we have the last day to plant mod. This essentially shows you a message upon waking up when today is going to be the last day that a crop can be planted for that season. This is a really, really cool mod because I don't know about you, but I always forget to either plant crops or just kind of give up because I don't think I'm going to have enough time. So this is great that it actually shows you that if you plant it today, it's going to be ready at the end of the season instead of you spending a bunch of money and them not being ready. Well, that was it for our farming related mods. Next is our shopping mods. There were a few more fun ones that we were able to find. So starting us off strong, we have the shop anywhere mod. This mod pretty much means that you can access any shop at any time and anywhere. This even lets you access things like the Desert Trader shop, the Oasis shop, the Adventurer Guild shop, even Gus's saloon. This can be really great and beneficial if it's super early or super late and you just need to get that one other thing, or if it is one of their off days and you just want to be able to get that item. This is not only a very handy mod, but also saves you a ton of running around if you've got a lot of things to try and get done. Coming up next for this one, we have the Ship Anything mod, a literal godsend. This mod now means that through your shipping bit on your farm, you can sell anything. You can now sell boots, rings, tools, weapons, furniture, wallpapers, and more. You name it, you can sell it. This is such a great feature because I hate holding on to all of those rings and swords and boots and having to try and make a dedicated trip to the Adventurers Guild to sell them because I will forget. Very great to keep all of your chests nice and organized from the get-go. And lastly on this list, we have the Price Drops mod. So with this mod, it now offers price discounts based on relationships with the shop owners. So for those like Robin, Marnie, Pierre, Gus, and Clint, who have shops that you can purchase things from, the higher your hearts are, the more discount you can get. The discounts come in 3 levels, a 10% at 3 hearts, 25% at 7 hearts, and 50% at 10 hearts. It even includes Robin's buildings, but it just does not include the house upgrades. And as well as a monetary discount for Robin's buildings, she will also offer resource discounts for buildings, which is incredible. Not only just a really convenient quality of life mod, but also an overall general mod that helps to incentivize gifting and befriending the villagers. That was it for all of our shopping related mods. Next up, we have one of my favorite categories ever, because it is the one thing I love to do in this game at the moment, and that is mining and combat. So the first one that we have here is the Skull Cavern Elevator mod. So this is as it sounds, it just adds an elevator to these skull caves. I showed this one in a very old video, and I just remember my first time ever going to the skull caves, I was so confused as to why there wasn't an elevator. Skull caves can also be a very overwhelming aspect of the game, so this can just make it a little bit easier and a little bit more accessible for everybody to play, because I can get down to the Meridian levels, get the Iridium I need, I can do deep dives still if I want to, and overall it's just a very convenient mod. Up next, while this one technically isn't mining or combat, you kind of use them for mining or combat, I feel, but this is the Wear More Rings. So this essentially means that you can now configure the amount of ring slots in your inventory, and by default it is going to add up to 6 additional ring slots. This is a fantastic mod if you're still early game, you haven't reached Ginger Island and the Forge, or in general you just want to kind of combine all of the rings and wear as many as you can. It's a very, very fun mod, especially if you're super into combat and mining. Up next on the list, we have the Combat Controls Redux mod. So this essentially just adds options for melee combat, gives a mouse click character direction change, things like a weapon auto swing, club spam attack, and other slick moves. Overall, it just gives some simple tweaks to the game's controls and just makes it a little bit easier and more configurable for all of that combat. And lastly on the list, I thought this one was really neat, but this is the Easier Monster Eradication mod. So again, if you're really into sort of combat and mining, this is something that you're probably familiar with, which is all of the monster eradication goals. Now, some of them can be really high, some of them take a while to achieve, and other ones are just super, super easy. So this essentially adjusts the number of monster slays needed for all of the monster eradication goals, as this is sort of one of the more grinding and excessive aspects of the game. And normally by the time that you reach these goals and obtain the rewards for monster eradication, you're normally nearing the end of your playthrough, or you just don't tend to achieve it. It's just overall a really great mod that adjusts the eradication goal so that the grind is not as hard and you can enjoy spending your time doing other things to hit things like perfection, or if you just want to hit all of the combat achievements. Well, that was it for our mining and combat mods. We are on to our friendships and NPCs. And starting us off, we have my personal favorite mod. I use this all the time. This is the Better Friendship mod. Now, again, if you have listened to me at all, I ramble on about this quite a lot. I'm awful with gifting. I am so bad at it. I really struggle to gift out to characters, to talk to characters. I am just very much like a be on my own and do my own thing when it comes to Stardew Valley. This is a fantastic aspect of the game, and with the Better Friendship mod, it essentially adds thought bubbles over villagers that indicate if something in your inventory is their favorite gift, or even a gift that they will like, and also if they need to be spoken to that day. So when you have met them for the first time, that is when the bubble will start to appear, and if you have gifted them and spoken to them for that day, then that thought bubble will go away, so that you know that you don't need to go and chase them down. It is overall just really great. I found great uses of doing just like in general a lot of foraging or mining and then just walking around, seeing if they want anything from me. But it's just a fantastic mod that you don't need to spend your entire time on the villagers part of the wiki. Up next on the list, we have Pelican Postal Service. This is essentially a postal service edition where you can send gifts and quest items to NPCs from anywhere. I feel like because of all of the comments from the latest videos, I am just justifying as to why this is a fantastic mod. But for villagers, schedules are a very difficult thing to get accustomed to. This is absolutely fantastic if you want to give them something, sort of hit those 2 gifts per week, but you have no idea where they are. Or additionally, you have a quest item that you want to send out to them, but you're only 1 heart and they're stuck in their room all day. This just makes it so much easier to complete more quests and overall up those hearts. And speaking of quests, our next mod is the Custom Quest Expiration. This essentially changes the daily quest expiration so that you can either make it never expire, add an extra day or 2 to it, or whatever works best for you. All of the daily quest or help wanted quests are so fun and so fantastic to do, but sometimes you just have other things planned to do or a couple of other things that you need to get done within the next few days, and it just makes doing these things a little bit unreasonable. So now you can manually adjust the time to work with your needs. And lastly, for our friendships and NPCs categories, we have the Social Network mod. This is fantastic and should be implemented in the base game already, I feel. This mod essentially changes it so that when you become friends with an NPC, this will affect your relationship with their family and friends, which helps to make the overall social aspect of the game feel more alive. When you gain or lose a heart with an NPC, you will gain or lose friendship points with the related characters. I love the idea of this because overall you're joining a valley that already has a bunch of people that are all quite close and friends and family. Obviously, if you do something bad, they're going to talk about it, and if you do something really nice for them, they're going to talk about it. I like the idea that if you do something really nice for Abigail, it's going to have a positive effect on Caroline and Pierre, or if you do something really nice for Emily, she's probably going to talk to Haley about it, and that might go to Gus, to Clint. Haley might talk to Alex about it, who might talk to his grandparents. Like, it's a whole network, and I think it is very, very fun. So that was it for our friendships and NPCs. We are now officially onto our last category, which is our miscellaneous ones. Now, this first one is for all of you speedrunners out there. However, this is the BGS Time Skipper mod. So normally to get to the next day, you need to go into your house and go to sleep. But however, this mod now changes that, so you can now skip multiple days with the press of a button. You can set it to skip 4 days, 5 days, 50 days, 100 days. If you need to wake up on that one specific time in fall, but it's spring, then you can skip it to do that. It's absolutely fantastic and gets rid of all of that little bit of grinding of going in and out of your bed, and just does all of the manual work for you so that you're not going to oversleep or undersleep. Next up on our list, we have the movement speed mod. So this mod essentially changes the player's movement speed and charging time of the hoe and the watering can. Overall, it just uses a flat multiplier and also stacks properly with other speed modifiers such as horses, coffees, and being slimed. Overall, just a fantastic mod that helps you to get more things done in a shorter time. Up next, a fan favorite, I feel. I had a ton of comments asking where this mod was, and also a ton of people in my Twitch stream asking about it. However, let's get into it. This is Automate. Automate is essentially what it sounds like. It essentially is going to now automate all of the system and processes and things for you. All you need to do is place a chest next to a machine like a furnace or a crystallarium, and that machine is going to automatically pull raw items from the chest and push process items into it. You can even connect multiple machines with the chest to link them. I love how sort of ham you can go on this. So if you're trying to hit a perfection and get things like the gold clock, but you want to spend your time doing other things, you can make a whole iridium wine factory. You can have fruit in one chest that essentially automates to putting it into kegs to produce wine. That essentially goes into casks to age that wine to iridium quality. This works for things like cooking, for crab pots, furnaces, even things like collecting mushrooms, setting up a system so that your eggs can go into a chest and that I can make mayonnaise so you're not changing that over all the time. You want it to be automated, you can get it automated. This is an absolutely fantastic mod, but it can be really great if you want to spend more time doing the things that you love, like fishing or mining, and less time taking care of your farm. Next up on the list, we have automatic gates. This is just as it sounds. This now opens and closes gates automatically, and it does it for players only, not animals. While the whole process of opening a gate is not that draining or tedious. It can just be a great overall mod if you're like me and love holding on to that right click button, get your hearts with all of your animals, but you don't want to be spamming on that gate. And overall, it can just be nice to have the whole gate system automated. And lastly, for this list, we have no fence decay. This essentially makes all fences and gates last forever. If you've played the game, you obviously know that regular wood fences are going to decay quickly per se. Your stone fence is going to last a little bit longer and so forth. However, maybe sometimes we just want to have a nice cute looking wood fence and not have to worry about it decaying and having to replace it constantly. So this mod removes that and just means that the fence is no longer going to be destroyed. Well, there we have it, besties. That is our second quality of life modding related video over here on the channel. Again, I'd love to hear from you guys, so make sure to let me know in the comments below what your thoughts were. As always, I would love to hear what mods you think that I missed and should add into the next part of this. What mods you absolutely loved from this list and which ones you were downloading. And as well, because I love hearing how these mods sort of affect your gameplay, if one of these mods that I've spoken about, not only in this video, but my last quality of life video, has made a positive impact for you, I would love to hear about it. So make sure to tell me all of the stuff down below. And as my final goodbye, remember friends, quality of life is different for every single person. That's it. I feel like a broken record at this point with how much I've been saying it, but never forget it. And on that note, I will catch all of you guys on the next video. Bye everybody.